Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video with your host, Rising Oblivion. Figure we could take a little bit of a break of all of the brand new Persona releases and stuff and talk about something that came out not too long ago. The Etrian Odyssey collection is out, and I got a code from Atlus, so thank you so much, Atlus, for kind of sponsoring this video and letting me play this game. I never got to play the originals, and it's honestly been lots of fun getting to finally play these games. They're really cool. They're a really fun spin on the classic turn-based kind of JRPG type style. If you don't know what this is the Etrian Odyssey HD collection, which is the first 3 Etrian Odyssey games basically brought to modern platforms, and it looks beautiful, it plays really well. I would say it is a true HD collection because it doesn't take away anything from the original games. It really only improves them, right? I think a lot of games out there, their collections or remakes or whatever, sometimes, you know, take some sacrifices, they'll get rid of some things, they'll bring some new things in, and it's not necessarily true to the original, but I think this game does a lot in terms of sticking true to its original games. I got to look a lot at the originals when I was making this video, and I gotta say, it's pretty dang good. So, like I said, this is on most modern platforms out there that you want to get this on, and I'm going to kind of give my little bit of a review here. I've never played a game like this, so just kind of keep that in mind when going forward. It's kind of hard to see a lot of these classic type of JRPG, dungeon scroller types. As you can see in the gameplay and everything, you're going to get kind of the gist of what I mean by that kind of genre, right? It's not necessarily something like you'd see in Persona or Shin Megami Tensei unless you're looking at the very old ones, like the original first couple, you know, Shin Megami Tenseis and stuff like that, some of the different titles. Those began similar to like this when it came to the dungeons, but it's different, right? Persona changed over time, Shin Megami Tensei changed over time, but Etrian Odyssey, this collection, is still pretty much exactly the same as how that kind of used to be, and it is fun. It's a different take on the JRPG turn-based aspect. The overworld is a little bit different, and something I do like about it is that you get to have pretty much all details on everything. If you could check that, you see that there is a map on the right side. That is where you can map out everything from the game. You'll see later in this footage that I actually mark out the borders and stuff. So not only is there just an exploration to play when it comes to this game, but you're actually marking out and putting exact things you see on the map where you want them to be. You'll carve out a little section if you explored it. You might even find a place where you can't go through yet, you can't proceed, maybe need a key, or you have to get rid of a crystal or something to proceed to the next area, so you can mark that on your map there. A lot of people had seen that the collector's edition of this game on Switch actually comes with a little stylus because you can use the touchpad to actually mark stuff on the map as you're playing through the game. I played this on the PS5, so you just kind of use the right analog stick to mark that stuff while you're playing, so it's still intuitive and still works, but you can have that, and it's a nice, like I said, you get to be very detailed with your exploration. You get to know every single spot, mark every single bit on the map that you want. It helps mark out and helps basically just fully understand what a dungeon's layout is and how to keep going forward with that, because sometimes you might come back for a side quest or something like that. And speaking of side quests, the side quests are pretty fun in this. A lot of times you can be fetching items, defeating certain types of enemies, or even exploring certain parts of the map and finding a certain part that allows you to basically craft something else or give something to somebody to give you a new unique item. There is the sort of bar area where you can get all the side quests and stuff from. Well, there's also a main quest from a certain type of guy. I'm not going to try and spoil too much of the story here, but yes, there's side quests and main quests. All the side quests is just to get items or some XP, some, you know, gold, stuff like that, which helps you in the long run of the game. So the side quests give you some nice little boosts and stuff. And the side quests also, like I said, the money and stuff, you can use and spend that on getting better gear for your whole team, accessories. It's pretty typical when it comes to normal JRPGs like that. You know, you have your different types of armor, your different types of weapon, per class, of course, which I'll get into in a second. Different types of armor per class, you have different weapons per class, you have some different accessories you can give to the characters. There's a few different slots. I think there's an armor slot and 2 different slots for different types of armor. So there's a big range of things you can do there, and again, you can build your characters kind of how you want to, because certain characters you'll have towards the front, and certain characters you'll have towards the back. You know, you'll have like your healers and stuff towards the back, or the people doing support towards the back, and the people that have higher defense at the front. So you can mix and match your party and customize them to be kind of exactly how you want it to be. You know, you might have your strong hitters that have high defense and stuff like that. My main character there is Zapar, for instance. He has some skills that actually try and antagonize the opponent to allow him to get her hit first before it hits anybody else in the party, which is really cool. They do a lot of interesting stuff like that. So we can kind of jump into characters here now. So yes, there's different character classes, and you can build your own team. You could do it exactly how you want to. You could have a bunch of like the same types, different mix and match types. I kind of wanted to have an even party, so I chose multiple different types. I think a party can only be at a limit of 5, but there are more than 5 different classes you can kind of pick from. So you do get to, you know, have a chance to mix and match. You can have multiple parties, like you can build some, just keep them there for later whenever you want to use them, whenever you want to. I just stuck with the one party the whole time, pretty much all throughout the game. But my party, like I said, I made it pretty even. I had a knight, I had like a healer type, I had a magic type, and there's some types that are kind of in between. They do some different types of stuff, like some can use lances, which is like, it's similar to the knight, but it has sort of like the weapons and the skills and the skill trees for that character is a little bit different compared to something like the knight. The knight's more defense oriented, while maybe someone who uses like a lance or something like that is more about the range or hitting multiple attacks in a row while still having like moderate defense, if that makes sense. So there's a bit of a range when it comes to that. My character Carthy there, she uses a whip, which is more for like statuses. So she deals statuses. She could deal like blind, poison, stun, different things like that. So there's a lot that you can do when it comes to the different characters, right? There's a lot of customization. You can have multiple teams. You can build your team exactly how you want to with different armor, different accessories. Skill tree is pretty intuitive. You level up certain types of things in the skill trees, and I believe very soon in the footage I'm going to do a level up so you can see how that looks exactly. But each class has different skills that goes to them, but some skills are in multiple different classes. It's more similar to like Final Fantasy, I think, when you have like, you know, a white mage, you have a black mage. Like a white mage does more support stuff, while a black mage does more damage and stuff. And then there's like a red mage, for instance, which is kind of in between. They do a little bit of both. Or you can have, you know, something like a Dark Knight or a Blood Knight or something like that, which is like a normal knight, but they have maybe a little bit of magic. So not every single class is super restrictive, which is nice. I like that. For instance, my main character, the defense character, actually had Cure, while my, you know, spell character also had Cure as well. So the different classes are not super limiting, which I really like when they do that in JRPGs, just to allow a little bit of a difference there. I do want them to be different after all. I feel like they should have some differences, but they do it in a way that's pretty good, pretty intuitive, and the way you unlock skills through leveling up certain aspects for your character. For instance, if you level up like their HP, you can unlock HP type healing moves or defense moves, for instance. So there's a pretty cool way in doing that. So we have, you know, side quests, main missions, good character building, good characters just sort of by design in general. The game looks really good, like I said, but when it comes down to gameplay, it is the typical like sort of old school JRPG type gameplay, right? This game, I think, is perfect. If you're, you know, a person who loves these old school looking classic JRPGs, or maybe you're wanting to get into it, this is perfect. The like best route to kind of go down for. I mean, you're not going to find a better sort of modern sort of, I guess, you know, interpretation of this type of game style anywhere else. This is about as best as it can get. And I'm not just saying that because I have an Atlus channel and everything, but there's not a lot of games out there that are like this. And I think that's why this is such a, you know, unique thing for them to make this collection. Like I said, it's 3 games, so there's plenty of content to play there. It is like a full-priced game, I believe, or maybe it's like $50 or something. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't check. Like I said, Atlus gave me a code, which thank you, I appreciate. But yes, just 3 games, and there's a little bit of DLC. We can get some of the Mega 10 characters. I believe they have Ringo in one of them. They have Nahbino. They have Dimmy Fiend in some. I think Joker's in one. Teddy, I think, is 2. they have a couple different characters for each of the different games, which can be actual characters that you have in the game, and they have their own unique classes. So they actually fit into a certain class and have certain unique abilities. It's not just a skin, like they flat out have different abilities. I'm not sure if they're overpowered or not. I didn't get the DLC. They're pretty cheap. I think it's just like a $1 or $2. So I think it's like maybe $10 total out of the entire collection you might spend on DLC. If you even want DLC characters. Like I said, you have a decent arrangement of characters and skills and stuff. So there is no real limitations on this, which is nice, which I really like. There is a good sense of freedom when it comes to your party and the gameplay exploration. This is a pretty chill, just sit back and play type of game. It's not super story heavy, so if you are more into the gameplay and you like this gameplay, this game is perfect for you. But I think that's going to kind of conclude this here. If I were to give this sort of a, I guess, like number ranking, I've done this on a couple of my past videos. I'm not huge on just number rankings, and I'm definitely not like a huge video game journalist type guy. I more or less cover news and like stream here on the channel, which check out my Final Fantasy 16 demo stream. It was pretty cool. I loved that. But if I were to give this somewhere, I would say it's somewhere around like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I'm not huge on this type of style of combat, but for what it is, I totally understand how people could like this. So I think that's where I'm going to rate this, guys. Let me know if you've played this, or if you think it's interesting, or if you like this kind of content. But this is going to be it for now, guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. As always, thank you all so much for watching.